Did you know that God's final judgment was predicted before the flood and to the exact generation it would happen? Greetings, welcome to Into the Text. My name is Reed, and in this video we're going to be talking about prophecies before the flood that have been fulfilled. What do you think about that? All right, so this is going to be, we're going to jump around a little bit. There's a lot of information in this video, so we are going to first look at the book of Enoch. Okay, so page 37. So before I get into this, I need to preface what this is about. And actually, let's wait on the book of Enoch. Let's go to Peter. Peter talks about it too. All right? Kind of doing things a little out of order. All right. So this gives the context of what Enoch is talking about, because I'm not going to read all the Enochian stuff because it's very wordy, but this is the essence of it right here. 2 Peter 2, verse 4 says, "For God did not spare the angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell and committed them to chains of gloomy darkness to be kept until judgment." Okay, so he cast the angels that sinned into hell. In the Enoch, in the book of Enoch, it talks about the earth, under the earth, until judgment. Okay, the text in Enoch takes it a little bit further. And we will have fun with this because, well, you'll see. Okay? So we know that the context is angels that had sinned. Okay? So 1 Enoch chapter 10, verse 12. "When their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them fast for 70 generations under the hills of the earth until the day of the consummation of their judgment and until the eternal judgment is accomplished." So we have something there. The same context that was talked about in 2 Peter is right here. Bind them for 70 generations. All right, we're going to take a look at something real quick. In Luke, there is a genealogy. And it goes from Jesus all the way to Adam. And we're going to pull it up here. I'm going to probably list it somewhere over here so you can see it. So, but if you go to Jude, let's jump to Jude now. You go, Jude states that Enoch was seventh from Adam. Think about that. Okay. In this genealogy in Luke 3, we'll see that from Jesus to Adam was 77 generations. Seventh from Adam was Jared. No, seventh from Adam was Enoch. I just read that. Dun, dun, dun. Right? Seventh from Adam was Enoch. So 70 generations from Enoch, according to Luke, would have been Jesus' generation. Okay, let that sink in a little bit. So the judgment on those angels and everything that happened then was going to happen during Jesus' generation. What also happened during Jesus' generation? Let's take a look. Matthew 24 goes over the destruction of the temple and a judgment, because they ask him, what do all these things mean? And Jesus says, "Truly, I tell you," this is Matthew 24:34, "that this generation certainly will not pass away until all these things have happened." What are all these things? Well, Jesus was talking about the destruction of the temple, and then his coming back, his judgment. And Yeah, so this generation will certainly not pass away until these things have happened. Mark states the same thing. Truly, I tell you, this generation will certainly not pass away till all things have happened. And then Luke says the exact same thing. So 3 different sources written at 3 different times stating the exact same thing. Okay. Now, let's drop away from that specific statement. Now we're going to look at what Paul and James and Peter have to say on the subject. Romans 13:11 through 12. And do this, understand the present time. The hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than we first believed. The night is nearly over, the day is almost here. So let us put aside our deeds of darkness and put on our armor of light. The hour is here, is nearly here. The day is almost here. That's imminent, right? James states, you too be patient and stand firm, because the Lord's coming is near. Do not grumble against one another, brothers or sisters, or you'll be judged. The judge is standing at the door. Sounds pretty imminent. Right? Peter, 1 Peter 4:7. The end of all things is near. Therefore be alert and be of sober mind, that you may pray. The end is near. Pay attention. Be sober. Okay. Hebrews 10:25 says, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another all the more as you see the day approaching. Approaching, as you can see it there, right? Revelations 22:10. Oh, goodness gracious, Revelations. Right? Then he told me, who told who? Well, Jesus was talking to John, the revelation, right? Jesus told him, do not seal up the words of prophecy of the scroll, because the time is near. Do not seal up the prophecy. The time is near. See, this is important because there's another instance in the Bible that talks about sealing up a prophecy. And this is in Daniel, because Daniel gets a vision of the end times, okay? But he is told to shut up and seal because the time is not at hand. So Daniel is told not to talk about it. He's writing it down, he's sealing it, it's shut. He is a few hundred years before Jesus. John, on the other hand, is told not to seal it up because the time is near. So if 300-400 years is too long, then those who've been waiting for 2,000 years, it's a bit long, right? So we're guesstimating that the book of Revelations is written in 68-ish. The judgment happened in 70, a couple of years versus 400 years, or 400 years versus several thousand years. Okay, so the judgment, we believe, happened in 70 AD, because everything is leading up to that. This generation shall not pass away. All of these verses saying, the end is near, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. They were leading up to that, the inevitability of the destruction of the temple and the judgment, the final judgment. Okay? All right, let me see here. What else do I want to say? I had a lot of stuff to say, and all of a sudden my brain just shut off. So, if the judgment happened in 70 AD, the one in Revelations that everyone's talking about and saying it's going to be wars and rumors of wars and everything happening in the news that's going to trigger the apocalypse. If it's already happened, what does that mean today? That means we got nothing to worry about. Think about it. If we don't have to worry about the end, because the end mentioned in the Bible's already happened, it's technically the end of the Old Testament covenant. It didn't end when Jesus died and resurrected. That was the initiation of the end. But when the temple was completely destroyed and the Holy of Holies and all that stuff was eliminated, there's no need for a temple, a physical temple. There's no need for a high priest to go into a temple and commit sacrifices. Because A, Jesus was the sacrifice. He rose again. And Hebrews tells us that he is our mediator, our high priest. So, if there needs to be another temple built, why? There's no purpose in it. No purpose at all. So, what this tells us is, well, let's step back a little bit. If we go back to Genesis, the original Adam and Eve was told to be fruitful and multiply. Right? If we go to Noah after the flood, him and his family were told to be fruitful and multiply. At the Great Commission, Jesus tells us to go forth, baptize men, making disciples of all nations. So in other words, be fruitful and multiply. So we need to stop thinking about, oh, the end is nigh. No, it's time to be fruitful and multiply. Okay. So if you got any questions, write them down below. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, dig in.
You can be loser, set me free.